So anyway, so what Netflix, and when I'm using Netflix as the proxy for all big
Hmm.
streaming services, right? So just
The gold standard.
right. So Netflix
Ooh.
has, what they've done is they have made it possible. They've sort of, well, they've made it possible for a lot more indie type shows to pop up and be really popular, or you know, like, you don't have to get the backing of a major studio to do it. I mean, I guess you could argue that Netflix is a major studio now, um,
Yeah,
but
100%.
but still, like, it, like, what one of the things that Netflix seems to be doing is saying, we're just gonna like purchase an idea, like, here you go, here's some money, do it, here's some money, do it. Like, a lot more is being done.
Hmm.
um, and so they're kind of like spreading that around, and there's a lot more like small shows. And one of the reasons they're able to do that is because the model's different, right? The monetization model is different. It's subscription based, so a lot of people feel much more free to do, like, what I guess over in Britain and the BBC's been doing for a long time, which is saying, we're just going to tell a story, and we're not going to be feel forced to get, pay service
Well,
to
there's
our
also like
advertising gods.
the
And
binge part of it, where like they just give you all the episodes, and most people watch it all
So much
immediately.
right.
better. So
Right,
much better when
right.
they do that.
So what that is doing is making it so that there are a lot more projects that can be done, because they're smaller. They're done all at once. Like, you don't have to spread it out over this sitcom or television style where we're filming something every week and you're doing it through the season. Like, it's like, let's get it all done. It's done in a cinematic style. Quality's really high. There's all this kind of stuff, and so eventually, and you've seen it happening, the popularity of shows like that.
Sorry, the lights just went out on me.
EJ's lights just went out, and it's just like,
There's distracting, yeah. So
mhm.
the popularity of shows like this has made it so that, television, quote unquote television, or TV series or something like that, as in non-movies, are attracting big name stars now. And
Yeah.
also vice versa, big name stars are people who have been only on, television series, quote unquote, which is
Hmm.
way different than it used to be. It used to be that, you done squeaking your chair?
Yeah, sorry. Okay,
Just kidding.
jeez, Dad.
It used to be that television was like the death knell of an actor, like, right, like you were a if you were a movie actor, you wouldn't touch television with a 10-foot pole because that was like a lesser form, right? But now that's
I
not
think
the
like in the
case.
'90s it switched, but yeah,
That's not the and it's just not the case anymore. So much so that you have like really big actors that are headlining in these TV shows. And I think that what that's doing, because there's more projects out there, there's more stuff happening, there's more money being given to these smaller independent style things, and people are able to eat them up a lot more. There's a lot more freedom of choice when it comes to what you can consume. That everybody's interests are spread out over a lot of different things, and so the the like, your focus doesn't have to be on one person. It can be on a lot of different people. And I really think that that's making it so that the blockbuster star is not is losing steam. Like, it's not as big of a thing anymore. When, like people like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, they exist less and less anymore. And yes, I agree that you've got your Chris Hemsworths, your Chris Pratts,
Chris Pines,
all
your
the
Chris's.
Chris's.
I
I
don't know
think
the
I
other
think
ones.
this is all basically like I would go to the Marshall McLuhan media theory aspect of this, which is like, Marshall McLuhan had this whole thing, which was that the medium is the message, and that like the nature of the medium is like the most important part of like communication. So the reason I bring that up is because technology has changed, and also like culture has advanced in some really important ways. So originally, like to make a movie, to make a film, was such an expensive endeavor, and it required such specialized knowledge and tools, and it was like a real insider's thing. So like only Hollywood and like a few other cities in the world could have a film industry because there was just so much
Oh, see,
stuff
okay,
required for it.
something I was looking up when I was looking up the Godzilla stuff, which we might not get to, but like Japanese film industry started in like 1897. I was surprised by that. It was like contemporary with American film
Yeah,
industry. That
yeah.
Right.
shocked me.
Oh yeah, yeah. They had a huge like film industry.
And silent films up much longer than we had silent films. Yeah, it was really interesting.
But even then, like, I think that might actually play into what I'm talking about here, which is that like there used to be this mass media culture, and part of it was because that was the only option. Like, and it wasn't just true for film; it was also true for radio and television. Like, all this stuff was just so prohibitively expensive in terms of technology that only a few stakeholders could produce films and media. So that's part of why we had this big mass media culture. And so in some ways, we're probably going back to, like, because originally, like, before mass media, we had just like really specialized local culture. You know, like, this city has this kind of play that they really like. This town, this village has this music that's really popular. And we're kind of going back to that, but now it's not geographical anymore because of the internet. I think it's more subcultural. You know, it's like we have all these little subculture niches.
I would agree with that kind of term. Yeah.
It's like niches, it's like a retribalization, but now instead of being physically, geographically, it's more like culturally. We're all culturally segregating back up into like these little niches.
Well, into interest groups, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, if I like indie weird synth pop, then it's okay to like be like, I'm gonna talk to these people that care about that.
Right. I don't think it's inherently good or bad that we're breaking up into these interest groups. I don't think that's necessarily good or bad, but it can be manipulated, and it is being manipulated by different interests.
I'm just talking about the actual interest groups, like this, like, here's my niche thing that doesn't really like horror movies that of an Italian like directors or something like that. You kind of have to go to like certain places to get that kind of stuff. Oh
yeah, and when I was like I think about this all the time. Okay, like this is like kind of a tangent, but it goes into the idea of Godzilla and stuff. Like, when we were kids, right? How often did you find something in your life, like some media or something you could engage with, that was really, really cool? I don't know about you, but for me, it was like maybe twice a year. You would discover some new show or some new comic or some new video game that just was like really amazing.
Like, I remember when Sci-Fi started playing stuff like like they started playing weird stuff, and it was like, okay, yes, Sci-Fi Channel, like, this is something completely new I'm not used to.
Yeah, like, right. I remember like some really specific things for me, like Mystery Science Theater 3000. When I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is life changing. You would only see stuff like that like once or twice a year in your life, and like most of the cool stuff out there you just never even knew about. But now I just think about what it must be like to be a kid today, where you have the internet and you just literally discover amazing stuff that is targeted like straight to your brain every single day, like every hour.
I feel like, and I've felt this way before, that I get frustrated when there's not something amazing for me to sit down and binge, you know? Like I'm out of all the really good shows. Now I just have to watch, this
something over again.
Now I just have to rewatch, Planet Earth.
Well, now I mostly just watch YouTube. If there's nothing to binge right now, and there's a bunch of really cool stuff on YouTube, and that's another thing is that, like, okay, and then this is where it gets into like optimism versus pessimism or reality or whatever. So, like, because YouTube is a direct competitor, I think, to Netflix. And I think a lot of people there are a lot of people, especially younger people, who are watching way more YouTube.
Oh yeah, 100%
than professionally produced content, right? And so the optimistic idea I think we had going into this with YouTube and stuff was like, oh, this is great. Now everyone can own the means of production, and we're going to have this like Renaissance golden age of where everyone can just be a producer, and it democratizes everything. But then there's like the reality, which is the like alt-right Ben Shapiro.
The biggest people are the worst. Yeah.
The funnel, the Nazi funnel.
Also, so there is that, I agree, but also, don't you feel like for you, I know for me, I feel like YouTube is just a different, I just go to YouTube for a different reason. Like, it's just a different, it scratches a different itch than, say, Netflix.
Well, one thing that surprised me is I thought there would be a lot more narrative stuff on YouTube. Because, like, remember in 2007 when we had our YouTube channel, like, how long ago was that? 13, 14 years ago, right? Like, I thought, I don't know about you, but I thought it was going to be like narrative stuff. I thought there'd be a lot more sketch comedy. I thought it was going to be like people producing films and TV shows, like in their backyards. That's
hard. It's really hard, like it's a
lot of work.
YouTube kind of like pushed against that in their own way. Like, it's more geared towards like not necessarily what we're doing, but like reaction videos and stuff like that, where you include the audience in some peculiar way, where it's like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing as you, and we're both talking about this video that we both just watched.
I actually don't think that YouTube was pushing against it. I think that YouTube was just responding to what was becoming popular, and they were encouraging.
It's all about the algorithm. It's all about the algorithm.
Yeah, it's definitely their algorithm.
People really love to watch like unboxing videos. I don't think anybody at YouTube like predicted that, and they're like, you know, we got it. Like that would be pretty funny though if that was.
Like, back in 2003, they were like, "This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna
people
create.
Like
Here we go.
Boxes.
Unboxing. Unboxing's the future.
We're gonna create a video streaming service
for cats,
for people and their cats, and opening packages. They get.
I miss the days when it was just cats. I wish it was still just cats.
Yeah.